Good morning, everybody. I'm trying something I hadn't done in a while. I usually bring a kind of a pre-made latte. Everybody calls it my high-octane chocolate milk. But I didn't bring my cooler this time, so I didn't worry about making that. So I got some water that's just about to boil here. I'm gonna use my drip. Got some coffee that my wife let me use. Some of her Larry's Beans coffee. Got some hazelnut syrup in there and some half and half. Let's see how this turns out. And then when that's done, I'm gonna make some Mountain House spicy Southwest style skillet, which is a really good meal. I don't even know if you can get these on the Mountain House site anymore. I think they stopped making it for some reason, which is kind of a shame, but it's really good. I actually got this one, a box of them off Amazon, so you might still find some out there. But anyway, give it a try if you haven't had it before. All right, it's time for breakfast and coffee. At some point while sitting around the fire at the Fontana Hilton, we decided that rather than heading back to the marina and paddling the 5 or so miles from there to our campsite, we'd just head to the Cable Cove access point, which was a more direct route and a shorter distance. So after some coffee and breakfast, we headed over to Cable Cove and made the short crossing over the lake's main channel, which was a bit more choppy than it had been the previous day, and headed up Hazel Creek to our campsite. So we have arrived at campsite 86 in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. We paddled up Hazel Creek. I may have said Eagle Creek earlier in my last video, but we were paddling up Hazel Creek and got about as far as I guess most folks do. There was actually technically the Hazel Creek trailhead right there where we stopped, and I think a lot of folks in boats and kayaks and canoes and whatever typically will dock there, and then it's about a 3/4 or so mile walk from the access point down to the campsite. It's not a bad, and it's down a nice little trail. It's not a bad walk at all. So anyway, and we're getting set up. You can see Steve in the background starting to set up his hammock. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of the campground. Got a fire pit and some wood that'll at least get us started with a fire tonight. We're probably gonna have to go out and find some more here in a bit. We just took a little break when we got here and had lunch. Not sure how well you can see this, but I've got some black pepper corn crusted salami, good stuff, and some Parmesan cheese over here, and some chips over here in this little bag. I'm gonna have that Pro Bar here in a little bit. I'm gonna set up my hammock first and come back and get some lunch. And Steve, I think, he had a can, which is down there empty now, a can of sardines, which are really good. Had a few of those, and I think he had an avocado. So anyway, there's lots of options here as far as tents and hammocking. Trees, all these trees over here would work in some combo. I'm going to set up over here between those two trees right there. The one near where Steve's hanging and this one here with all my stuff. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. So we walked down to Hazel Creek, one of the campsites here at this huge group campsite is right along the creek, and we kind of wish we'd have walked all the way over here for this site, because it's just a little ways up here. Like basically right up there. It's a campsite. You could actually hang hammocks right in here if you wanted to. But that's the creek. Going back up the creek, and Proctor's right up there on the left. So this is the site I was just talking about, right up from the creek that we wish we'd have came down to, but we were already set up camp. I'm not going to worry about moving now. But you can see, like, this is the fire pit and some little stumps to sit on, and then pretty much there's the creek. Good water source. They say if you really wanted to get down by the creek, you could definitely hammock down there. Maybe just one hammock, probably. But definitely a lot of spaces for hammocks here. So we're at the bridge here, heading over to Proctor, just down from our campsites. This is Hazel Creek, and this is looking back into part of the old town of Proctor. Of course, all the interesting stuff is over to our left, which I'll show you more in a minute. It's kind of hard to see it from here, but it's all some of the original structures that were here way back when, before they dammed the area. Anyway, we'll show you a little bit more when we get across into the main area. We are in Proctor, about to walk into the Calhoun house. So cue up Blair Witch music. Oh, better be careful, this is a steep step. Steve's already in here. Make sure I don't bust my rear end too. Alright, we're coming in. Fireplace here.
There's some lards in here. No
Looks like the kitchen area, pantry, stove, and a sink over there, and out back here on the deck, little table. I'm not going to open the door anymore. And if you can barely see right there, there's a shed that I guess the Park Service uses to maintain the Hazel Creek Trail. A gas canister. Kinds of odd things you find in here. Bathroom, and there's Stevie. And then it's like one of the bedrooms, I'm guessing here. Maybe it was another fireplace, or maybe it was kind of a living area. And then maybe this was a bedroom. Maybe. This is the last room, maybe a bedroom, most likely.
Don't know what room this was.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. Maybe a bedroom or something. This looks
Yeah, this is another, oh, we didn't come in this room actually. This is room's kind of separate from the main part of the house, so maybe it's, I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's a little separate private room kind of thing.
this may be an additional one.
Yeah.
Looks like it was added on later. Higher ceilings.
Chairs out here on the porch. There's Hazel Creek, little barn in the distance. It's an awesome place. I'm sure it was tough living here back in the day, but it's definitely pretty. Somebody's been here recently. There's some hand sanitizer and a full bottle of water. Oh well. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. After strolling around Proctor for a bit, we decided to hike a few miles along the Hazel Creek Trail since we still had quite a bit of daylight left. Along the way, we took a short break beside the creek where we discovered that the group campsite where we were camping was where the ball field had been back when Proctor was in its heyday. Pretty cool stuff. After our creek break, we ended up going back to the trailhead to get another mile or so in before heading back to camp and enjoying a nice fire and some tasty dinner. So this is where we took out.
This right here.
So I think if it was a little bit higher up, you could get a little further up the creek. But as it is, this is where we had to take out. And of course, there's that blue boat. Was here when we got here, and we just met 3 guys who were probably in college age or teenagers that are going up and doing some fishing, and they're actually camped up there. Not technically a campsite, but I think it matters that much. And this used to be a train trestle right here where we have our kayaks locked up, and it used to run basically along the Hazel Creek Trail down by Proctor when they were when lumber mills were here, and that was kind of the big source of income here. Anyway, heading back to camp. Alrighty, got our park volunteer from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Mr. Steve Balin, or Toots. Actually, this little ATV was just along the Hazel Creek Trail when they got here today, and it's been here for a while. I mean, it's in functional condition, but you can tell that they haven't used it in a while. Just a bunch of leaves and stuff in it. We're kind of guessing that they might take a boat over from either the marina, or Cable Cove, or somewhere, and ride up down to the trailhead, and then come get in the ATV and go up to Proctor and go to that trailhead maintenance shed. The horn works. Now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, here it is. So we just got a fire started. Steve just turned on the camp lights. Not quite dark yet, but we're getting ready for it. And it's starting to cool off just a little bit. And show you around here just a little bit more. I may have already showed you guys this before, I don't remember, but anyway. Here's where we set up camp. Kind of got a little triangle of sorts going here. And sharing that tree and tied off on these other 2. Just hope Steve doesn't snore very much tonight. Anyway, gonna make some dinner here in just a few minutes. And might have a few sips of bourbon too.
Oh, this is good too.
So after a relaxing evening around the fire, enjoying some good food, bourbon, and music, we settled in our hammocks for a good night's rest. We had another round of coffee and a light breakfast when we woke up, packed up, and made our way back down Hazel Creek. Along the way, we met a couple of fishermen who warned us that the main channel was quite windy and choppy, and to take caution crossing over to Cable Cove. In the next clip, you'll see that they were right. The lake was more choppy than it had been all weekend, but being that the boat ramp was at a slight angle from where we joined the main channel, we were able to paddle into the waves as we crossed over. We just tightened up our butt cheeks and paddled hard. As we got closer to the boat ramp, we knew our cars were at the top on the opposite side of the parking area, but were uneasy that we couldn't actually see them, and it took us almost having to climb to the top of the ramp until we could finally see them. Panic attack averted. And what a great trip. Both of our trips to Fontana Lake were fun, and we had really wanted to explore both Eagle and Hazel Creeks on our first trip, but just didn't have the time. And now we're already planning another trip, so we can get back to our campsite we missed on night one, and paddle a bit further up the creeks when the water levels were back to normal. As Steve said as we approached the boat ramp, the Fontana area is one of our favorite places to visit, not just for the lake, but for all of the outdoor activities it has to offer. It's just an awesome place to visit. Until next time.